nti bye bakola kweyambisa amateeka kulwana n'oyo gwe bavuganya naye mu byobufuzi.
Yesterday, Bobi Wine did an interview with BBC Radio. When he did an interview with BBC Radio, the presenter went on to ask him about his stand on the homosexuality in Uganda. We all know that Bobi Wine for long has not sided with any position. He has not come out to say that he is pro homosexuality or is against, because of the various reasons I gave in my previous video. And if you missed that previous video, I'm going to leave a link here in the description. So in this episode, I've come to dissect Bobi Wine's interview which he did with BBC Radio, what it means, understand he has against or for homosexuality, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There is a lot of content of this nature. If your politics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. I dedicate this video to Rashid Seguja, a political prisoner who has been in incarceration for more than 3 years. So we all know that Bobi Wine did an interview with BBC Radio, and he went on to talk about homosexuality as he was being asked by the presenter from this radio. But if you hear that video, you will see that he didn't come out to be for or against homosexuality in Uganda. Okay, and I'm going to explain this. But before I do this, let me first give you the tape as he was being interviewed. Here's the tape.
I want to turn to the fact that you are in this country now to talk about the film. You have not been allowed in this country for nearly a decade because of lyrics that you wrote when you were younger. What's changed? Why have you been allowed in?
Well, I wrote the lyrics and I sang them, and I took responsibility.
These were homophobic lyrics. These were lyrics suggesting that gay people should be fought, should be beaten. I mean, do you regret those lyrics?
Certainly we grow and we transform. I've always mentioned that I'm a product of very many second chances. And I want to be known for a leader that is respectful, inclusive for everybody. Of course, this is now the same thing that I am tussling out with General Museveni, who deliberately sponsored now the law that
the anti-homosexual bill, one of the strongest bills that gives some gay people potentially the death penalty.
Definitely. And I also want to mention that this law, General Museveni did not bring it in the interest of the people of Uganda, but it was brought to target the opposition, including myself, knowing that he can use it to crack down on anybody that is perceived to be friendly to that community.
But let me just ask you about this. Your party, the National Union platform, voted in favour of the law in its entirety.
Sure. But in my party, I have members of parliament that are working with General Museveni.
What's your view of this anti-homosexual law? You say it was introduced to get at you, to get at the opposition, but do you support it or do you oppose it?
It was brought targeting the opposition, and that means that anything that I say about that law puts not only me but even my loved ones in harm's way. That's why you refrain from taking a position. So even if I were to ask you, if you did become president, would you repeal that law? Again, you would not answer. I would be very conscious because I know that it was largely targeting us as the opposition, mainly myself.
So you clearly see that he tried to circumvent the questions without standing firm. Okay, and he even went on to say that the law was brought so that General Museveni can use it against them, and this can have some iota of truth. We all know that different laws have been waved at opposition leaders in a bid to contain them from fighting for freedom. Okay? And even before the 2021 general election, Bobi Wine was labeled a homosexual, which means that we know one day the government can wake up and say that Bobi Wine is an homosexual, and that law can be used against him or other opposition leaders. We all remember in early 2000s, Besigye was accused of rape, and he spent very many months in prison. But at the end of the day, this case didn't materialize.
Emisango gyonna gye baakanteekako gyonna tewali musango n'ogumu bwe guti gwe nali nsangiddwa tineetaaga okwewozaako mu kooti yonna. Emisango gyonna gye baakanteekako gye bampozesa ne gye batawoza, kubanga ng'ogwa rape baleeta abajulizi mu kooti ne bawa obujulizi, naye nze saateekwa kukola ki? Kwewozaako. Emisango gyonna n'ogwa treason guli ogwa RPA gwe banteekako 2.5 era PRA era n'ogwo nagwo gwagutwala mu kooti ne baleeta n'abajulizi, naye tewali musango n'ogumu gwe nali nsangiddwa nti balina obujulizi bwe neetaaga kukola ki? Kwewozaako okuddamu. So ekitegeeza nti bye bakola kweyambisa mateeka kulwana n'oyo gwe bavuganya naye mu byobufuzi, kuyungirira emisango kulwana n'oyo gwe bavuganya naye ku byobufuzi. Persecution kyekiriwo kigenda mu maaso.
Just imagine if that law was in place at that time, maybe he would have been charged for being an homosexual. So even Bobi Wine had some iota of truth in this one. 2, he was also very calculative not to side with anything, because in my previous video I said that being against homosexuals, it can have some ripple effect as being for homosexuals when playing politics in our country, Uganda. So you must be strategic when you are going to stand for or against anything. 3, the only mistake I saw in Bobi Wine's interview is when he came out to say that the members of his party who voted for the anti-homosexual bill work for Museveni. That was the only mistake. Let me first play you the clip again before I dissect it. Here's the tape.
But let me just ask you about this. Your party, the National Union Platform, voted in favour of the law in its entirety.
Sure. But in my party, I have members of parliament that are working with General Museveni.
So you clearly see that Bobi Wine went on to say that these people who voted for the anti-homosexuality law work with Museveni. It was a mistake. Maybe the best answer would have been that he would have said that since we didn't have the party position on that law, so everyone was free to vote for or against the bill. The individual members exercised their freedom in voting for this. Okay. Sometimes a leader must come out to protect his subordinates. Of course, that's my humble opinion. You can also tell me what you think about Bobi Wine's interview by commenting on this video. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.